You know that moment when you completely lose it with your kids and wonder what's wrong with you. Today's guest had one of those moments and it changed everything. She's going to share why even the most loving, intentional moms struggle with emotional regulation and what actually helps. Stay tuned. Welcome to Fulfillment Therapy. I'm Kendra Nielsen, wife, mom, and licensed therapist. Do you ever feel like you're doing everything right, but you're still exhausted and empty? Did you think life, marriage, and parenting would be simpler and more rewarding? Sometimes you just want to crawl back into bed and lose yourself in screen time and chocolate, rather than face that personal or family stress. You are not alone. This podcast helps you break free of the rat race and build a richer, more meaningful life, flourishing incrementally and realistically, improving your mental health and wellness, and living with deeper purpose beyond the mundane, no matter where you are in life's journey. Welcome back to Fulfillment Therapy. Today we have a special guest here with us, Irin Rubin. She's the founder and CEO of MamaZen, a global mental wellness platform helping parents navigate anxiety, emotional overwhelm, and burnout. Inspired by her own motherhood journey, she created MamaZen to provide practical tools rooted in mindfulness, cognitive hypnotherapy, and innovative AI support. She's also the author of MamaZen Parenting Method, a guide to parenting with greater calm, intention, and emotional balance. So we're so excited to have you on the show today. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me, and I'm looking forward to share and speak about this important topic that a lot of moms don't know exactly how they got there, but we can help them to move forward in much better state of calmness and relaxation. So I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Yeah, tell me a little bit more about MamaZen, like how you arrived here. You're obviously a mother. Tell us a little bit about how you got here.
Yeah, being introduced into motherhood was quite overwhelming. There's a lot of things we don't know when we're new moms. And my first child, I had to be induced, which was quite traumatic experience for me. Unfortunately, during all the intervention, I got fever, and because I got an infection, my daughter had to stay in the hospital for a week. And that affected breastfeeding and then having a colic baby. So it started pretty rough. And I realized that everything that was dealt with me was, so we did the measurements, the assessments, I didn't have postpartum depression, therefore everything is normal. But nothing really felt normal. And I felt like there was something missing in the care that we give moms 2014. And then fast forward 2 years later, I'm pregnant again. And all that PTSD is coming back because I never processed it. So here we go, second delivery. I'm freaking out. Thank God the delivery was easier. But I go home and my baby is colic for 8 hours a day. Crying, it's winter time, can't escape the crying. And I felt like I was losing it again. And again, I started going to doctors and sharing how I was feeling. And everybody said, well, everything seems just fine. I guess this is just motherhood. And again, I'm like, are you serious? Like, obviously I'm not feeling well, but nobody's really like giving me any solutions to this. So I started searching the internet and I tried everything. I tried different supplements. I tried exercising more. I tried eating better. I tried getting more sleep. I tried getting more breaks. I called a few friends and shared how I was feeling, and nothing really helped. And after going to a few doctors and all my blood tests came back normal, right? Because at some point you start thinking maybe this is hormonal, because the physical element is starting to affect your mind. And they put me on the wrong prescription medication. And it was just like, I didn't feel like there was any solution that could actually pull me out of this. My second daughter is now turning 1, and I don't know myself anymore. I'm full of rage, a lot of snapping. The days are just long. I'm exhausted. I wake up in the morning just not wanting to get out of bed. And I'm like, what is going on? I used to be a happy person. I don't recognize myself anymore. And the important part of the story is I never gave up. So my husband, he's a clinical hypnotherapist, and he came home every day from his office and shared how much he helped this person that had anxiety for 20 years overcome it in just 2-3 sessions. And then he shared with me about this mom, and he said she has 5 kids, and she was yelling all the time, and she came to me for patience, and she really wanted to stop yelling at her kid because it was really affecting her relationship with them. And in 2 sessions, she stopped yelling, and even the husband was confused and asked her, how come you're so calm? What's going on? Everybody started noticing the difference. And I remember after having a really rough bad time with my toddler and my infant, I was on the couch crying, and I told him, I can't hear about how much you help others. I need you to help me. And he said right away, he said, sure, of course, let's go over this. What exactly? And it was the first time he didn't talk to me as my spouse and the father of my children. He actually decided to deal with this as a professional. And I shared with him a few of the things that I was going through, and I was very honest. And he made me a few audio recordings. And the reason why he made me audio recordings is because as a mom, I don't have time to drive to his office, park the car, sitting in the office for an hour. I need something when the baby is napping, the toddler is in pre-K, and I can just play something real quick. And it was the first time since my first birth that I finally felt my nervous system exhaling. I was able finally to calm down and take that full breath and just feel like connected to myself again. And I knew that was it, that I found something that works for me. And just like hypnobirthing helps to calm moms down, it doesn't end with birth. As you know, as a parent, it's just the beginning. And I think that we need to change the way we take care of moms. Being pregnant is the beginning of the next 18 years. And if you have a few kids, it's the beginning of the next 20-something years. And some parents of adult children are still struggling with finding that inner peace. So that's what we do at MamaZen.
And I know this is going to resonate with so many people. Listeners, I remember feeling that for so many of my babies too. I have 4 of them, and it wasn't cookie cutter. And there's so many times that I felt the same thing, like full of rage, exhausted, like you talked about. I used to be happy. Like, I know that listeners are like, I felt that. Like, what do I do about it? So you're talking about hypnotherapy, something that I really love too. Big advocate of it. So for the listeners that don't really know exactly what that feels like, can you share what that was like?
Yeah. So we use cognitive hypnotherapy, and the way it works, the hypnotherapy part just gets you out of fight or flight mode. We use a strategy to calm you down. If you're very stressed out right now and I try to help you by words, it doesn't go into your mind. There's block. So that's why talk therapy sometimes takes 20 years to overcome something, because this has to do with neuroplasticity. The process of neuroplasticity is very natural. The more negative associations, behaviors, conversations you have about something, you're reinforcing negative neural connections in your brain. So if you go to a therapist and share with her how your kids are driving you crazy, how you are not being the mom you want to be, you're actually reinforcing that cycle. And what we do at MamaZen is actually the opposite. So we calm you down so your subconscious mind is open to change. It's very hard to change unless you deal with the subconscious mind. So first we calm you down. Then we go into the session, which is through visualizations and suggestions, where helping you to create a new reality. And you see it in your mind during the session. And what does that do is it starts to create those positive neural connections in your mind. So the next time you're triggered by something, you can actually pause and make the choice. Do I go the positive route and stay calm? Or do I go back to how I always behave? And when it happens, when you actually notice it happening, it's quite empowering. I noticed it when we were late. We were about to leave the house, and my 1-year-old and 3.5-year-old were fighting on the stairs while putting their shoes on. And I felt that like motherly monster coming up my chest. And after doing the sessions for a few weeks, I noticed it. And I noticed that I don't have to yell right now. I can actually speak calmly. And the interesting thing is my kids noticed. And they both looked at me like, is mommy okay? Usually she starts yelling at us at this moment. And it changed our household. So once my kids started noticing that I'm less agitated, less yelling, less snappy, they started behaving better. They started being better siblings where they used to like push and try to get on each other's nerves. Now suddenly they start hugging more and they're being more loving with each other. And I realized that because my nervous system was on high alert, it really affected them. And that's part of the cycle, right? Because our kids mirror our behavior. Our nervous systems are very connected. So if I am not able to emotionally regulate myself and I yell at my kids, be quiet, relax, stop whining, they don't know how to regulate themselves. But if they start seeing me taking breaks, breathing, by the way, when you start breathing deep, they all start joining you. They don't know why. It's because our nervous systems are kind of coexisting. So when they are triggered, and then I get triggered, which causes them to be even more dysregulated, then it's that vicious cycle of, okay, now I have to calm them down even more when I'm super not calm. And I think that the most important thing a mom can do is figure out what works for you to calm your nervous system down, how to emotionally regulate. So it doesn't matter how old your child is and what's happening, you are always able to find that inner peace and go back to it. And when you do that, everything else is not so critical and not everything feels like an emergency, right? Does that make sense?
Does it ever make sense? Yes. Speaking my language, this is so normal in my day-to-day. I love how somebody else explains it. Like me working with my clients, even me remembering this as a young mom. I mean, it still happens even with older kids. I have a child in college, in high school, in middle school, and elementary school. So I'm in all of the stages of knowing exactly how that's coming across with the different ones. And I have seen that in myself too, as I've started to do more of my own work through hypnotherapy, through trauma therapy, different things. I've been able to develop more emotional regulation and how that impacts my kids. I didn't even realize it, but the way that you said it, same type of thing, where I, even after a client, I didn't even notice at first, but I'll take a big breath and just release it. Or with, like when somebody starts to bicker and fight, I notice I start to do that. And again, they also start to do that after a while. But as I take more breaks and as I talk about why I'm taking breaks and have that dialogue, it does change that atmosphere in the home. I love how you talked about the motherly monster and how you started to notice it and you started to slowly make those course adjustments or those corrections that change the atmosphere in the home and how people started to recognize that. Sometimes we don't recognize it in ourselves as quickly. Like I know with my husband, he might have responded a certain way, but instead that like he laughs or he instead engages with them and he does something out of the norm and how that completely affects the atmosphere. Now it's easier to notice in him, but not always in myself sometimes. But over time, yes, that happened. For listeners wondering, oh, that sounds lovely, but how can I do that? What do you say to people that come to you? Like, how do I get there? I feel like I've been white knuckling it. I feel like I've been trying and it's just not happening. I don't have that emotional regulation. I'm so mad at myself, but I can't seem to fix it.
So this is actually a very important point you're mentioning right now. We are all in hypnosis. We're actually dehypnotizing people because your belief that you can emotionally regulate means you are hypnotized yourself and you keep on repeating that communication with yourself and therefore you can't reach it. The way you talk to yourself is very important. So I would recommend everybody listening, we give 7-day free trial on the app. Just try it for yourself. Play a session and see how that feels. See if you can go back into your inner self where you felt calm before and recognize that feeling. Trust me, it was there before. If you give it a try, this is very different from meditation. What we do, there's no silence. There is no breath work. We tell you exactly what you need to do so we can get you to that state. So our sessions are very easy to follow and they're actually quite nice because you get a break from life. Life is very stressful. Everything that you do, if it's money, health, pressure to exercise, pressure to eat healthy, pressure to teach your kids the right values, everything is putting us under so much stress right now that we just don't know how to come out of it. We're so stuck in it. So the important thing is to first realize you can do it. It's very possible. And one of the biggest tools is, yes, you mentioned breathing, but I have to share, if you're not breathing correctly, it will not work. So moms that are thinking to say, I've tried the breathing, it doesn't work for me. Maybe you haven't tried the correct breathing. There are different ways to breathe, and if you don't do it the right way, you're actually putting yourself in a more stressful state. So you have to make sure you do it correctly. Then, if you are really focused on this will not work for me, guess what? It probably won't. So you have to be more open-minded. I think that the fact that we assume things will not work for us is actually like backfiring, right? Because if you're not even willing to okay, do 2-3 sessions, fine. If it really didn't work for you and you really hated it, then don't come back. But what if it helped a little bit? Then the next time you do it, it's going to help you even more. And me, after doing this for years, I can go into that calm state so fast. And it's so nice because there's chaos around me all the time. And I notice I get triggered by a lot of different things throughout the day that don't even have anything to do with my kids anymore. No. Life is very, very stressful. Unfortunately, we have stress from our partners. We have stress from bills. We have stress from work. We have stress from not working. So you really have to work on it, and you really have to figure out what works for you.
Absolutely. Tell me a little bit more so they know what to do. Where can they find your app, and how long do each of those things take? Because maybe they don't have that time.
Yes. So you can find us on the App Store on Android or Google. It's called MamaZen, MAZEN. And by the name, you know what our main focus is. When you download the app, we're going to ask you a few questions because we create a customized program for you. We have sessions as short as 2 minutes because we know moms don't have time. But this work that you will put in is going to pay off for years, and it's going to pay off for your kids' mental health. We created a brand new tool. Her name is Sage. She's an AI emotional concierge, and she knows we have over 1,000 sessions in the app. So she knows every session, and she knows the user. And what you do, you start chatting with Sage, and you share with her, today I'm feeling this, and because of something that happened, and she'll ask you some questions, and then she'll find the right session for you within 2 seconds. So she's very quick and she's very efficient. She knows exactly what you need. It's a closed system. Sage only provides sessions that we created. And if you tell Sage, listen, I only have 5-8 minutes, then she will find a short session for you. The fact that you say, I don't have time, well, maybe go less on social media, maybe watch less Netflix, and dedicate some more time for your mental well-being because it does affect everyone around you.
I love that you kind of broke it down exactly how that works and kind of conceptualize what that looks like. I haven't used this one yet. I'm excited to try it out, but there's other types of things that I've used before. And I've been amazed how helpful it has been to slow down, especially when you think you don't have time to slow down. That just brings more tranquility and peace in ways that you didn't think you'd be able to. I love a lot of and I don't know if this is quite what yours is, but guided meditations, things to help regulate you a little bit more. When you talked about your nervous system earlier, you're being dysregulated. Does anything to bring you down from that? So are all of your sessions, all of the things that they can access, all forms of hypnotherapy?
Yes. So there are cognitive hypnotherapy combined with mindfulness.
Okay.
Because as moms, we usually have that pattern of going back to what happened and feeling shame and guilt about it. It takes us away from this moment. And we also have we're very anxious about things that might happen that most of the time don't really happen. So we help the moms to stay in this moment right now and help her with any trigger you can think about when you have kids. If it's bedtime routine, if it's my baby won't breastfeed, my child is not getting along with anybody at school and I'm stressing out about it. We have sessions for almost everything. We have also sessions for the kids beginning at age 4. A lot of moms struggle with bedtime, keeping the kids in bed or helping them to fall asleep. They loved our sessions, and the moms usually will do the session with the child. So now they have a connection during bedtime instead of that struggle of the yelling and stay in your bed and that struggle. So I think that every mom will find something to work on because it is a shared problem we have. This is not something that you are going through by yourself. It is unique to you, but because of the way our sessions are structured, you will be able to apply it to your own situation. So it's very interesting. Think of any situation that's happening to you, and the way we provide it is you're creating your own reality during those sessions. So they're very empowering and they're very customized for what you're going through. And Sage is unbelievable. She's talking to you. You are her most important thing. And if you start asking her about things that she's not really supposed to be talking about, like grocery list or where I should buy food for tonight, I'm here to help you de-stress and come out of this state of the constant irritation and anxiety. So I think the other thing is that when you start your day, wake up with the right intention. Up until this point, and it's always nice to start the sentence like this because it breaks that pattern. Up until this point, I felt this way, but today I'm going to focus on being present, yelling less, being more patient, doing something for myself. And when you do that, then your mind will go and do it and try to find those things that help you. But if you wake up in the morning and you say, another day, they're all going to be crying, it's going to be horrible, it's going to be a long day, I don't think I can do it, things like that, you're reinforcing that reality, unfortunately. And we have to stay away from that as moms because it's draining. That's what's causing the burnout. It's that negativity. And yes, not everything is going to be perfect tomorrow. But you know what? You'll be more equipped to handle it. And that's where we're going. So life is not perfect. Nobody does motherhood perfectly. So the relief we're giving you, that break from the negativity and from the heightened stress mode, is priceless, in my opinion. How do you feel when you are able to decompose and go back into that calm feeling? It feels amazing, right? Definitely. It's refreshing, it's rejuvenating, and that's exactly the goal why I created MamaZen, is because I felt so sick. And it was just because I was not in the right mindset. I was not getting those breaks, those mental breaks to just decompose and let my system relax. And when you do that, it will come more often and you'll be able to stay calmer for longer periods of time. And all of a sudden, within a year, you're not being triggered so much by things around you. And things happen all the time because motherhood is so unpredictable and things change constantly. And what you thought would happen doesn't really happen the way you thought it would. And I realized it very early with my first delivery that, oh my God, it doesn't really matter what I want. It's going to go the way it goes. And I have to deal with it. And I didn't know how. And I think that was the big gap I had, is it doesn't really matter how things go. You need to be able to control yourself, go back to that space of calmness. And usually when you are actually quite calm, you find the solutions faster.
Thanks for being here for this powerful conversation about motherhood and mental wellness. If today's episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to share it with another mom who needs to hear this. Text it, post it, or just send her the link. It means the world when you help us reach parents who are struggling in silence. We'll be back here shortly with part 2, where our guest shares the practical tools from the MamaZen method that you can start using today. Stay tuned. Hey friends, if you enjoyed this episode, a quick 30-second share can help someone else find support and help this podcast grow. Leaving a review on Apple Podcasts boosts visibility and keeps the show alive. Your simple acts make a big difference. I'll see you back here each week for more life-changing episodes.